ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim wa bismillahir rahmanir rahim wa laqad yassarna al-Qur'an lidh-dhikr fahal min muddakir. Again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to our 27th session of grammar. I apologize first and foremost for the long gap that came about, and there was a reason. I felt sick, I was unwell and needed that time to recover, and as you can see, I have recovered I'm in full form, inshallah, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everybody's dua, kindness, prayer, alhamdulillah, recovered, and now inshallah ready to continue with the classes, hopefully without any break. All right, we have the winter break coming ahead, so we're going to plan around that as to how we're going to continue with classes. Inshallah, you will be updated, inshallah. All right, because I myself just came back today, so there's lots to be talked about. But without any further delay, let's get started with our class today, lesson number 27. It gives me immense joy and pleasure to see that despite the gap in classes, almost 4 weeks gap, many of you continued with your classes. You sent me your worksheets, you emailed me your answers to check them. By the way, the answer key for lesson number 26 is also uploaded in the description box, so please go ahead and check your answers. But I was really happy, and it gave me so much inspiration, mashallah, that from different corners of the world, you're sending me your work, and that you kept at it, and you were encouraging each other. I saw in the comment section also that you were encouraging each other to review and make use of this gap. So subhanallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in your efforts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for all your efforts, and He increase you in this tawfiq, inshallah. So with that, let's get started with today's lesson. Today we are going to do the family of infa'ala. But before infa'ala, if the document can be up, thank you very much. What we will do is, we're going to do a quick review like we do with the application of Surah Ra'd. Alright, so I'm going to pull up Surah Ra'd for you over here, and these are ayahs 8, 9, 10. Basically what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the tone that He uses in this section, which is primarily the tone of Surah Ra'd, is that of warning, right? So here He's warning the disbelievers about how everything is within His knowledge, how He encompasses everything, whether it's their intention, right? Whether it is something that they vocalize, whether it's something that they carry deep buried in their hearts. Everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of, and that's basically the message that is included in these ayahs. So I'm not going to, of course, this is not a tafsir class, I'm not going to go into the tafsir of the ayahs. What we are going to do, and what my objective here is in pulling up these ayahs, is to go over words that you have done, right, that you recognize. That is what is most important over here. So you won't recognize everything, but you will see that you recognize most of it. That is if you have kept up with revision review, and you have been part of this class since day one, inshallah. Alright, so without any further delay, let's go to Surah Ra'd, ayah number 8. Alright, Lafzun Jalal Allah. We know that this is ism, okay? No brainer there. It's ism, and then if you want to do its TGNS, it's been quite some time, so let me take you back a little bit, right? So when you see a noun, automatically what comes to your mind? You need to ask yourself, what is the TGNS? And what is TGNS for the uninitiated? It is the properties of, it's the acronym for the properties of nouns. So type, gender, number, and status. What's the type? Lafzun Jalal Allah. It's a name, of course, it's proper, right? Gender, of course, male, right? Number, of course, 1. And then status, we see the dhamma over here, right? So it is the rafa status. So that's how you recognize that this is a noun. And then the next word that you have, which is ya'lamu. Is it a noun? Is it a particle? Is it a verb? We know when we open the mushaf, it can be one of the three, right? Noun, verb, or particle. Cannot be a noun, does not have alif lam, does not have tanween, cannot be my particle. So therefore, it has to be a verb. And if it is a verb, right, once I have identified something as a verb, I need to ask myself whether it is past tense or present tense. And if it is past tense, there are certain specifics about its endings that give away what it is exactly, if it is past tense or not. And if it is present tense, then we look at both beginning and ending. So over here, I look at the word and it says ya'lamu, right? So I see the beginning ya. The root letters are ayn, lam, mim. The beginning is ya, and that is telling me that it is a present tense verb, which is mudari. Okay? So here, this one is mudari. Allah knows. Alima, you go to the dictionary, it means to know. So Allah knows. Ma, we have learned ma. We have learned ma for negation, and then we have learned ma for as a relative pronoun, whatever, right? It's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so ma can come in two meanings. Over here, it comes as ism mawsul, relative pronoun. How do you know that it is relative pronoun and not a negative particle? Context-wise, it simply does not make sense. Okay, so here ma, this one is a relative pronoun. Okay, you know the proper form of the relative pronoun is what? Alladhi, alladhina, alladhani, right? And this is the common form. We had ma and man, if you remember from the beginning days of Arabic grammar. So we have ma, whatever. Allah knows, whatever. Tahmilu. Okay, so tahmilu, again, tahmilu is what? Cannot be a particle, cannot be a noun, has to be a verb, right? So if it's a verb, is it madi or is it mudari? It has the beginnings of mudari. Atain, remember, hamza, ta, ya, nun. So if it begins with one of the four, unless it's a root letter, if it begins with one of the four, then it is your mudari. So over here, tahmilu, right? Hamala, go to the dictionary, find the meaning. It means to carry. Okay, so Allah knows that which it carries. What is that it referring to? There, inshallah, we have two more families of mazid fi remaining, and after that we'll go to the topic of fa'il and maf'ul. So you will identify, you will be able to identify the doer and the object and all of that, inshallah. Okay, so over here I'm just going to give it to you. Kullu. Alright, kullu untha. This is, kullu is a special mudaf. We have learned that before. Untha is girl or female, right? What each and every, kullu untha, what each and every female carries. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what each and every female carries. Hamala yahmilu means to carry. Okay, carries. Untha, I'm not going to go into it because you have not learned that. So we're going to just pass over. Okay, and wama, again, the ma is the same thing. Wow is for particle and, okay, ma is relative pronoun, okay, same thing. Wama and whatever. Taghidu, you have not, this is a verb, but you have not learned this verb form, so I'm simply gonna move ahead. All right, so whatever it carries, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whatever each female carries. Kullu unsa, carries. Hamala yahmilu, tahmilu. And then wama taghidu. Taghidu means to conceal. Okay, and whatever, this is to conceal. Arham, wombs. So if I put it together, and whatever the wombs conceal. Okay, raham is the singular, okay, and arham is the broken plural. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whatever each and every female carries. All right, and whatever, again, whatever the wombs conceal. All right, wama, same thing. Wa is and ma is relative pronoun, and whatever tazdadu, and whatever increases. This verb you have not done, so I'm not going to get into the specifics of this. All right, I'm just going to give you the meaning. And whatever increases, meaning over here, stages of pregnancy. Okay, stages of pregnancy. This is basically what it's referring to. Again, like we said, it's talking about the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how encompassing it is, right? So, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concludes this ayah by saying, wa is and particle, kullu shay'in. Kullu, what did I say? Special mudaf, right? Special mudaf. When you have a special mudaf, the word that comes after it will have a kasra, default. It has to have a kasra, or kasratain in this case, right? It will be in the state of jar. So each and everything, kullu shay'in. Over here you saw kullu unsa. How did you translate kullu unsa? Each and every female, right? Or each female. And then you can say kullu shay'in, each thing, all right? Each thing. Indahu, okay? Inda is again special mudaf. Okay, if this is mudaf, then the other one has to be mudaf ilay. It's the attached pronoun with him. So for kullu shay'in, each and everything with him, bi miqdarin. This is jar majroor construction, bi. Okay, and that's the reason why it has kasratain. Remember, every word is supposed to be, every noun, the default state is what? Rafa. It will have dhamma, dhammatain, una, ani, all of that, right? Whenever you don't see the default state, you see the fathatain or the fathas or the kasratain and the kasras, then you need to look what is acting upon it. So miqdar, it was miqdarun, became miqdarin. Why? We just need to look before it. We see the harf jar bi. That particle is acting upon miqdar and making it miqdarin. So that's your jar majroor construction. Miqdar basically means appointed term. For everything, there is an appointed term with him. Indahu. Indahu, the whole damir referring back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so that's ayah number 8. Now moving on, we have ayah number 9. Alimul ghaybi wa shahadati. Translation, alim is knower. Ghayb is what? Unseen. Okay, and shahada is seen. Now question, you see over here, alimu. What kind of a word is alimu? Does not have alif lam, does not have tanween. Does it look like a verb? It does not quite look like a verb, right? So one thing that you can, in order to determine what it is really, you can always look at the word that comes after. That's the trick. If you look at the word that comes after and it has a kasra, it's in the jar state, you want to keep this in your mind that it can never be a verb. Okay, a verb can never be followed by a majroor ism. It's impossible directly, like how you see it over here. You know, they come together. It cannot be. So in this case, you have something that does not, you have a word that does not have alif lam, that does not have tanween. Okay, it looks like a verb, but then cannot be a verb because the word after, which is al-ghayb, is in the jar state, right? This has to be your idafa construct. Okay, so alimul ghaybi, alim, knower. If you take the root words ain, lam, mim, go to the dictionary, the one who knows. It's on the scale of ismul fa'il, right? The one who's doing the action of knowing. So the one who knows. Alimul ghaybi, the one who knows of idafa, of the unseen. All right, here, of the unseen and the seen, whatever it is. So the invisible and the visible. Shahadati. Question is, why is shahadati kasra? Right? The reason shahadati is kasra is because this is basically how it was. Okay, I'm going to write it here. You can see it clearly, right? Let me erase this. Okay. And then I have alimul ghaybi. Okay. Wa shahadati. This is what it originally was. Knower of the unseen and the knower of the seen. And so this is another idafa construct. But it's redundant to repeat alim again, like it happens in English as well. We do that, right? We don't have to repeat and again, right? So that's exactly what is the format here. Alim is the mudaf to both ghayb and shahada. Okay, so alim is the mudaf, ghayb is the mudaf ilay, one, and then was shahadati is mudaf ilay also to alim. Okay, and this is there in Surah Falaq and Surah Nas. Surah Nas especially, Rabban Nas, okay, Qul a'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, Malikin Nas, Ilahin Nas. So if you look at that, you will be able to apply the same concept there, inshallah. Alimul ghaybi wa shahadati, al-kabirul muta'ali. Al-kabiru means mighty. Okay, muta'ali is exalted. So these are nouns. Both of them are nouns. Okay, now I'm not going to talk about this one, al-muta'ali, why it's kasra. This is an exception, all right, and you have not learned this, so we're going to move over. Okay, we're going to pass over this one. So alimul ghaybi, the knower of the unseen and the seen, the one who is mighty, all right, and exalted. Okay, so this is basically what ayah number 9 is talking about. And then we have ayah number 10. Okay, we have ayah number 10. Sawa'um minkum. Sawa is a noun, which means same it is. Okay, it's the same. Okay, sawa'um minkum, for you. Okay, min is jar, so kum has to be majroor. If there's a jar, it has to be majroor. Okay, it's the same for you. Okay, man, the one who. Okay, so this is what? This is also a relative pronoun. We did ma, we saw in the beginning of the ayah, right? So this ma was a relative pronoun. It comes when, you know, it's ambiguous, right? Or you're referring to objects. But when you use man, you're specifically talking about people, right? So here, it's a relative pronoun, which means whoever, all right? And for ma, it would be whatever, okay? So it's the same for you, yani whoever. Asarra, it's a verb. We have not done it. We're going to pass over, all right? It's the same for you, whoever is secretive, okay? Is secretive with the speech, al-qawl, speech. It's a noun, and you can do the TGNS of it. Okay, why is it fatha? We'll learn that later. Okay, remember, when you see something kasra, when you see something fatha, something is acting upon it. So usually we have learned agents that act upon a noun and make it kasra, agents that act upon a noun and make it fatha. We've learned that, like jar and nasab. We've learned that. Here, this concept, this particular reason, we have not learned yet. Inshallah, soon, in a week or two, you will learn. So that's why I'm just passing on. Okay, but know that whenever you see other than rafa and other than rafa, you see a nasab or a jar, something is acting upon it, that causing it to change its look. Okay, so same qawl over here means speech. And then you have waman jahara. Man, again, whoever. Jahara is what? Does it look like a noun? If it is a noun, then there has to be another noun with a kasra to make it a idafa construct. But that's not the case here. So jahara is a verb, and if it's a verb, is it madi or is it mudari'? Clearly this is madi because we don't see atain, hamzata, yanun. So this one is madi, and the one who is loud, right, vocalizes it, yani he vocalizes his speech. The who, the bihi, this bi is jar, and the who is a so if it's jar, then the next word has to be majroor. Okay, so bihi will be a jar majroor construction. And this who, pronoun, the one who is loud about it. What is that it going back to? Qawl. Just from context, you pick it up. All right. We just said the one who's secretive with his speech, or the one who vocalizes it. Obviously, it's talking about speech. So the who, the mir, goes back to the speech. Waman huwa, again, man is the same thing, relative pronoun, and the one who is hidden, mustakhfin, right? We have not learned, so we're going to pass. Okay, what kind of a word this is, we're going to pass over. It's a noun, okay, but what family does it belong to? We've not come to that yet. Waman huwa mustakhfin bil-layli, at night. The one who is hidden in the night, yani he's camouflaged in the darkness of the night, he's not visible, right? Bil-layl, bi, jar. So the next has to be majroor. Okay, bil-layli, all right. And then wasaribun, wa is particle. Okay, saribun, sat, this tanween has to be noun, no questions asked, right? And what scale does it fall onto? Fa'il, ismul fa'il. Okay, and the one who is apparent, right, or visible, you can say, or moving around. Bin nahari, jar majroor construction, bi, nahari, day, in the daylight. Like I said, these ayahs are talking about the extent of Allah's knowledge, which our limited minds cannot even comprehend, right? So as a warning to the disbelievers who are being hypocritical in their ways to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he talks about the extent of his knowledge, saying whatever they say, whatever they do, the true intent is always known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these are the examples that he gives, or this is how he describes himself. And with that, we come to the end of application for Surah Ra'd in today's class. Now going back to the family that we are going to start today, inshallah, which is the in fa'ala group, right? So before I start the infa'ala group, really quick because of the gap, even though you guys have reviewed and you're really good and on top of it, inshallah. But really quickly, I'm just going to do a quick review from the first group that we did. And if you see, I have written here the characteristics of each group in the sense of like what is extra in them. So you have the root letters, right? Fa, Ain and Lam. Those are the root letters. And the Mazid Fihi verbs that we are doing, they're called Mazid Fihi because there is something extra. And what is that extra? We started off with the Af'ala family. So Af'ala, Yuf'ilu, If'alan. What was extra there? The Hamza, and that I have written there, right? So that's group 4 in the dictionary. And then we have group 2, right? So group 2, again, 3 root letters, Fa, Ain and Lam. And what was extra in it? The Shad. So the second root letter, Ain, is doubled, right? You have Kabbara, Yukabbiru, Takbiran, Fa'ala, Yufa'ilu, Taf'ilan, Allama, Yu'allimu, Ta'liman. So you see the root letters? The root letters are 3, but something additional is there. That's the second root letter, which is doubled. So that puts it in the second family of Mazid Fihi. Then moving on, we have the third family, all right, which is Fa'ala, Yufa'ilu. What's extra in there? You see the Fa, Ain and Lam, right? Those are the 3 root letters. And then you have the extra, which is the Alif, right? So if I take Jim, Ha and Dal and I plug it onto it, it will be Jahada, Yujahidu, Mujahadatan or Jihadan. This group has 2 masdars, verbal nouns, right? And you just plug it into the scales. And not necessary that both are used. Sometimes both are used, but it's always that one is more commonly used than the other. Okay, so Jahada, Yujahidu, the Alif is the extra. And then we move on to group 5, which is Tafa'ala, Yatafa'alu, right? So again, you take the Fa, Ain, Lam, and what do you see is the extra? It's the Ta and the Shad. Okay, so the second root letter is doubled, and then you have the extra Ta as well, and that's the characteristic of group 5. So if I take Kabara, right, and if I plug it into Tafa'ala, how is it going to sound? Takabbara. If I take Alima and I plug it into Tafa'ala, how is it going to sound? Ta'allama. All right, so even if you are not able to say the chart verbally, as long as you're able to recognize it, all right, that's also good. That's perfect. So don't be intimidated if you're not able to do the charts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate this journey for you according to your capacity. And trust me when I say each one of you will get it according to your capacity. All right, so inshallah, now moving on, we have group 6. Okay, group 6 is Tafa'ala, which we did the last time we had class, which is about 4 weeks ago. Tafa'ala, Yatafa'alu. What is extra in there? In addition to Fa, Ain and Lam, you see the Ta and then you see the Alif. That's the extra, right? So Tanaza'a, Noon, Zal and Ain. Tanaza'a, Yatanaza'u. Okay? Takabara, Yatakabaru, Kaf, Ba and Ra. This is basically how you plug it into the scale. And the verbal noun will be takaburan or tanazu'an. Okay. Now today's family that we're going to learn is this one, which is infa'ala. Right. Again, you take the fa, ain, and lam. Okay. And what do you see that is extra there? It is the alif and the noon. That's the characteristic in terms of an addition to group 7. All right. Infa'ala, yanfa'ilu, infi'alan. That's the masdar. Okay, and we're going to do some exercises inshallah, just applying them. So if you see over here, the chart is there, right? So if you look at the chart, there's the Madi, Mudari, Amr, and then the Ismul Fa'il chart. One thing that is unique to the Infi'al family is that it does not have Ismul Maf'ul. Okay, usually, like for example, you have, if you take the Yaf'ala family, right? Say you did A'lama, yu'limu, i'laman, a'lim, mu'limun, and mu'lamun, right? You have the Ismul Fa'il and then you have the Ismul Maf'ul, right? But for this family, what is unique is we only have the Ismul Fa'il. We don't have Ismul Maf'ul. That's good news, right? One less thing to study, okay? So the Madi, how does it sound? Infa'ala, infa'ala, infa'alu, infa'alat, infa'alata, infa'alna, infa'alta, infa'altuma, infa'altum, infa'alti, infa'altuma, infa'altunna, infa'altu, infa'alna, infa'alna. Simple. You just take that basic chart and you just plug it onto that, right? And you follow along. You just have to pick up the sequence. And like I said, even if you're not able to say the entire chart, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. As long as when you look at the word in the Quran and you're able to recognize, which comes with practice, all right? Anything good in life, I mean, you have to work hard, right? And we're talking about the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can it just happen, you know, me sitting here and in a year or in a couple of months, I just become an expert in it? It does not work that way. So we have to put in the amount of time that is required, be consistent with it, be firm with it, and we will feel the increase, inshallah. Okay, so that's the Madi. Now coming to Mudari, you have infa'ala, yanfa'ilu. Yeah. Right? So it is yanfa'ilu, yanfa'ilani, yanfa'iluna, tanfa'ilu, tanfa'ilani, yanfa'ilna, tanfa'ilu, tanfa'ilani, tanfa'iluna, tanfa'ilina, tanfa'ilani, tanfa'ilna, anfa'ilu, nanfa'ilu, nanfa'ilu. Okay, all right, so this is your Madi and the Mudari chart. Now when we construct the Amr, if you remember, the command verb is always constructed from the Mudari second person, right? The direct command. So this is no exception. We go ahead and we do the same. And how do we construct the Amr? You take care of all the beginning signs of Mudari, right? So over here in this case, you are going to get rid of the tas, okay? And then you're going to make the ending light. What do we mean by making the ending light of a verb? If there is a dhamma, you drop the dhamma. You put a sakin in there. If there is a noon, you drop the noon, except for the feminine scale, right? So here, after dropping it all, like, okay, we're going to do this one. Let me quickly do this one so it's easy for you to follow. Here, I'm just going to get rid of the ta. Okay, and then I'm gonna, this is how you make the Mudari light. Same here, okay, beginnings and endings here, all beginning and ending gone, except for this one, it's just the beginning, all right? So now what is remaining over here? Look at this, okay? Here, what is remaining? You have noon, fa, ayn, and lam. How are you gonna pronounce this? Noon has a sakin. Can we pronounce it? It's impossible. We cannot pronounce it. So what do? When we cannot pronounce something, we bring our helper, Hamza. So we're going to do that here. Okay? And it's going to be infa'ala. Oh, sorry, infa'il. Okay? Not infa'ala. Infa'il. Alright? Same thing over here. This one will be infa'ila. Okay? And this one will be infa'ilu. Okay? This alif is just there to indicate to us that it's the plural wow, okay? And then we have in fa'ili, okay? Then we have in fa'ila, all right? And then in fa'ilna. That's it. That's your Amr. That's how you construct it. You do it. So, Amr basically is like a chopped Mudari, okay? That's basically how you like it. Does not look like Madi, it does not look like Mudari, but still looks like a verb, right? So it's like a chopped Mudari if you wanna tip, like, you know, the beginnings and the endings of Mudari are missing, okay? So when you have identified something as a verb, keep in mind that it's either going to be a Madi verb, a Mudari verb, or a command form, right? So that's what you have for Amr. And then the final thing that we learn over here is so passive we don't have for this family, okay? We have the active participle, which is the ismul fa'il. We don't have the maf'ul, okay? And that is what you just plug it into the munfa'ilun family. So it's munfa'ilun for masculine, munfa'ilatun for feminine, all right? And then munfa'ilani, dual, right? Munfa'ilatani, and then munfa'iluna, and then munfa'ilatun. So this is the Muslimun Muslimani chart that we learned in the beginning. Keep in mind that majority of the times when you see in the Quran mim dhamma, okay, and then you see like 3 root letters there, it's most likely your mazid fihi, ismul fa'il, or ismul maf'ul. It's almost like a given, okay? You don't even have to think. If you see a mim dhamma, okay, mim dhamma, then 3 root letters, it has to be from the mazid fihi family. You just have to figure out like which family does it belong to. And once you figure out what family it belongs to, go to the dictionary, find the meaning, translate, okay? All right, so that is the basic family chart, okay? And now we're gonna do the application of it, which is, and then after that we'll conclude inshallah, okay? So you have qata'a, right? I take the 3 root letters, qaf, ta, ain, all right? And I am going to plug it into in fa'ala. How is it going to sound? Take qata'a and plug it into in fa'ala. So in is going to remain, okay? In, instead of fa'ala, I'm going to go qata'a. Okay? In qata'a, which means to be cut off from. You can go to the dictionary, qata'ain, qaf ta'ain, handswear dictionary, and then you can look at group 7, you're going to find the meanings. Okay? So it means to be cut off from. So in qata'a, yan qati'u, okay? In qita'an, okay, in qita'an, and then will be, you just look at the mudari, okay, it will be in qati', all right, and munqati', munqati'un, all right. So that's qata'a. Now you take sheen, ghain, and lam, 3 more, and then we'll finish inshallah. Sheen, ghain, and lam, okay. You have in shaghala, that's the madi. Mudari will be what? Yan shaghilu, okay. Masdar will be what? In shighalan, all right. It means to be busy in something, okay. In shaghil, okay. Look at the amr, sorry, look at the mudari in order to get your amr, in shaghil, and then mun shaghilun, all right. That's your ismul fa'il. Last 2, in fataha, okay, yan fatihu, in fitahan, all right, and it means to open, okay. In fatih, amr, okay, in fatih, and then mun fatihun. You will see this verb commonly used in the Quran most of the times in ismul fa'il form, and you see the madi form also, okay. I mean the others exist, but this is what you see mostly, okay. Then you have in ghalaqa, last one, in ghalaqa, yan ghaliqu, okay, it means to shut. In ghilaqan, okay, in ghaliq, amr, and then mun ghaliqun, ismul fa'il. So this is basically how you apply. You take the 3 root letters and you just apply it onto this. It's just a matter of practice, and you can open up Lisan al-Quran. It's I think 284 or something that you will find this family there, and you can have many words there for practice. And I encourage you to practice until I see you again, right? So what I have after this is for you to practice on your own. So there are, again, like I did last time, there are these 9 words, and like you did last time, you did the work and then you sent it to me. Either you send it to me via email or you post it in the comment section. I prefer you post it in the comment section. If not, but you can email me also, because some of you take pictures and send it. So that's difficult to do it in the comment section. Whatever the case, whatever works for you, go ahead, work this, and then I will post the answer key to this next week, inshallah. All right. So that's our family for today. It's Infi'al, group 7. We have 2 more families remaining. Most likely I'll complete the 2 more families together in the next class, inshallah, and wrap up Mazid Fihi. So Jazakumullahu khairan, as always, for tuning in, for doing the hard work. And like I say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you always in your hard work and give you the tawfiq to draw closer to Him by understanding the word in the language that it was revealed. So inshallah, until I see you again, Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, salamun ala al-mursaleen, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين